to our first episode of Today in History.
On this day in history, in 1985, Los Angeles mob attacks Night Stalker Richard Ramirez. He was recognized from a photograph shown on television and in newspapers during the summer of 1985. The city, Los Angeles, was in panic by a killer who crept into his victims' homes at night.
California's newest serial killer has reportedly struck in San Francisco. The so-called Night Stalker is blamed for 7 murders in the Los Angeles area. Now, police have linked the killer to a murder in San Francisco last weekend. Police say the only common thread in the killings is the time of day. The Night Stalker apparently picks his victims at random, entering their homes after dark through unlocked doors.
By August, the Night Stalker killed at least a dozen people. The new enforcement officials were desperate to stop him. When Ramirez was identified as the chief suspect, authorizations released his name and picture to the public.
In a televised address to the nation 5 days before the presidential election, President Lyndon Johnson announces that on the basis of developments in the Paris peace negotiations, he has ordered the complete end of all air, naval, and artillery bombardment of North Vietnam. Accordingly, effective November 1, the U.S. Air Force called a halt to the air raids on North Vietnam known as Operation Rolling Thunder.
Samuel Mason, captain of Fort Henry on the Ohio frontier, survived the devastating Indian attack only to become one of the youngest nation's first Western desperados.
On this day in history, 1777, Mason was injured and had wounds, and right after he had his wounds bandaged up, he went right back to lead his team as a real leader would. By the early 1800s, Mason was most notorious desperados on the American frontier. Then in July of 1803, 2 men on his team killed him, cut his head off, brought it to Mississippi territorial offices to prove they earned the Dead or Alive Wanted award.